Next one is very quick. After each focus session, I reflect on my accomplishments and identify ways to improve. This is reflect and recharge. And this is the final 5-ish minutes of our focused hour formula. And the idea here for reflect is at the end of a focus session, just ask yourself, what could I tweak to make it easier to focus next time? Small adjustments can often make a big difference. Keep a quick note of what helped or hindered your focus during the session. And basically what we're trying to do is this practice of continuous improvement to optimize our ability to focus over time. Focus is in many ways a muscle that can be trained. Whatever life situation you're in, however neurodivergent you are, even with people with ADHD, focus is a muscle that can be trained. If you have ADHD, you're starting at a different starting point than someone without ADHD does. But a lot of people use the label of a diagnosis as a reason to have a fixed mindset about this stuff. Like, I've got ADHD, therefore I can never focus. And what the studies around the show is that, no, I've got ADHD, therefore I struggle more than most people to focus, but I can also work on it. And there are lots of different productivity techniques out there, including some of the ones as it relates to activation menu, reactivation menu. These have specifically been shown to work with people who have ADHD. So what I would just encourage you to do is, whatever your context, approach this with a bit of growth mindset. You can always change up the way that you're focusing and try and over time land on a method that works for you. So I'm just going to share a few small changes that have had a big impact on my life. When we first ran this course last year, I just moved into a new house in London, and one of my focus sessions, it's going to sound a bit crass, so I apologize. Actually, no, I don't apologize. It's fine. I'm just going to keep it real with you guys. Sometimes when you're working on your computer and you have a need to pick your nose because your nose is running, or there's some random booger in your nose and you just want to get rid of it, and you look around and you don't have a box of tissues. What do you do in that sense? What do you do when you don't have tissues? Well, some people will just pick the nose and eat it. I didn't want to do that because I was like, I didn't want to put it underneath my bloody chair or my table because it's my own chair and my own table. And so I just got kind of annoyed. And so I got up, I went to the bathroom, I used toilet paper, blew my nose, etc., etc. But that derailed my focus. And I realized next time I should just always have a box of tissues on my desk. I think I currently, oh no, my wife stole it. I don't have a box of tissues. I always have a box of tissues on my desk. I think Izzy took it away because she wasn't feeling particularly well. Anyway, I realized I should just have a box of tissues on my desk. And so I bought a multi-pack of Kleenex from Amazon and just, got Amazon Prime the next day. And then I had a box of tissues on my desk at all times, except now because the wife's stolen it. God damn it. Box of tissues makes a big difference. It's a very small change you can make to your focus. But because I reflected on my focus session and I was like, man, I was derailed by the box of tissues, it was kind of annoying. So I fixed the box of tissues problem. The next day I realized I need a place to put these tissues because I don't have a freaking bin. And so I went out and got a bin for my desk. And now we have me and my wife have a sort of couple's desk set up in the living room where I normally sit. This is just my kind of filming and Zoom call setup. And we have a little desk bin that random chocolate wrappers and random orange peels and random tissues and random Post-it notes, they all go in this little bin because I was finding that it was just annoying having to get up and go to the kitchen bin to toss these tissues like a good tosser. And so now we just have this bin on the desk. Again, small change makes a big impact because now my focus is not getting derailed by this tiny ass thing. Another one, small change, big impact. I realized fairly early on, many years ago, that when I have a black coffee, it makes me far more likely to want to go to the bathroom. And so if I need to do lots of focus, so for example, today I clocked in 7 hours of focus on trying to prepare these slides because it was a bit of a last minute jobby. I decided, you know what, it's not going to be about the coffee because coffee actually massively derails my focus if I'm spending a lot of time in the toilet. And so I replaced it with tea. I've got this little Brexit teacup stock image off of Google because tea has less of a, whatever the word is, less of a diuretic effect, less of a makes you want to poo effect compared to coffee. It's going to be so funny if we get some feedback from the session being like, I can't believe I was talking about food. But genuinely, it makes such a big difference. It makes such a big difference to be able to just identify what are the things that are derailing your focus, and then how can you just fix them with a very, very small change. This is the power of reflection. Finally, in the final 5 minutes of the session, at the end of a focus session, take a few minutes to recharge your mental batteries. This is obvious stuff. This could mean stepping away from your desk, doing some stretches, taking a trip to the toilet, making a cup of tea, etc. The key is to give your mind a chance to rest before diving into your next task. Generally, I like to keep a few minutes in between focus sessions and Zoom calls because, as you guys know, if you work remotely, if you've got any Zoom meetings, it's just really annoying to be in back-to-back. You're doing something and you're into a meeting and you're doing something else and you're straight into another Zoom call. You barely have time to go to the toilet. You have to sort of mute your microphone, mute your camera, get the volume super high on your laptop so you can take a quick trip to the toilet. I sometimes take the laptop to the toilet with me because I didn't take a break in between my focus sessions, and so it's just kind of annoying. So one thing that we always have as part of our focus sessions now and as part of Focus Lab is to encourage you to spend a few minutes to recharge your mental batteries at the end of a focus session. Remember that these short breaks between focus sessions are just as important as the focused work itself because we are not trying to burn out here. We are trying to stay focused in a sustainable and enjoyable fashion. Final quick thing here is you can create a recharge menu, i.e. when I have finished a work session or meeting, I will do one or more of the following to recharge my energy. Again, I'm going to put a timer. Actually, you could go for a 10-minute walk. Use the bathroom while scrolling through Instagram Reels. That's what I do. Mindfully make myself a nice cup of coffee using the AeroPress. Do 5 to 10 minutes of stretches on the yoga mat. I have a yoga mat in my living room purely for this purpose. Grab the guitar and play a couple of uplifting songs. Personal favorites are Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver and Castle on Hill by Ed Sheeran. And to chop and eat an apple with almond butter while lying on the beanbag. This is my own personal recharge menu. I'm going to do 1 minute for you to write down your own recharge menu. What are things that you find help recharge your mental batteries and your energy at the end of a focus session? I wanted to include this image. This is an apple slicer. This is a game-changing invention. It's like $10 off of Amazon. And ever since I got one of these, I now eat so many apples because it makes it so easy. You just like push it down and your apple is perfectly chopped into, I don't know, like 12 segments. And then you can dip it in almond butter if you want, or like in honey, or even just have it plain. And it's so nice. While you're like working to like munch away on a little apple, or while on a Zoom call to munch away on a little apple when it's sliced. It's really annoying if it's like a whole apple, because then you like the juice goes down your hands and like makes your hands all sticky. But mate, apple choppers, one of my favorite kitchen devices ever. So if you haven't got an apple chopper, 100% would recommend. So we have gone over the focus hour formula, which is 5 minutes for planning and organizing, 50 minutes for focusing, and 5 minutes for reflect and recharging. And now we are about to talk about the focus log. So far we've done plan, we've done focus, and we've done reflect.